This is one of those relationship stories, long, that, let's be real, starts with a massive red flag. Think about it, 2 months in, and they're living together. This rush, this whirlwind romance, it's all good for outsiders looking in, but gosh, when silence and distance hit before the moving boxes are even unpacked, something is seriously off-kilter. She invested heavily in the idea of perfect couple life. The nest was built, and poof, the illusion shattered on the first morning when he barely gave her a good morning kiss. Holy moly, toxic relationship stories don't start with a bang. They begin with a whisper of misalignment. It's like trying to force a puzzle piece that isn't quite right. You push hard until you realize the crack is already there, visible between her expectation and his utter emptiness. This should have been the honeymoon phase, the excitement of the new, but what she found was a soul-chilling coldness, an abyss of communication that opened up right under their feet. Ugh. You know that moment when you think, shoot, what am I doing wrong? That's the reflection of the person trying to fix what was already broken, bless her heart. What most people miss is that distance at the start of a connection is a symptom, not the core problem. It's like a fever during a cold. The body is telling you, hey, there's something underlying. And in their case, what was lurking beneath the surface was an invisible tension that would turn the next topic, about communication, into a real-life minefield. Oh, brother. This is where the dynamic of so many toxic relationship stories truly solidifies. She steps on the gas, trying to bridge the gap, and talk about the distance, adulting stuff, gently pointing out, hey, I'm not nagging, I'm concerned and I want us to be better. And what's his immediate response? He slams the brakes, pivoting what narrative back onto her. Wowzers, he tells her she demands too much and that her attempts at connection are what make him anxious. Geez, this manipulative move is called gaslighting, or at best a classic defense mechanism, plain and simple. Instead of acknowledging the valid feelings in their relationship stories, he flips the script. He's effectively saying, your desire for a healthy connection is the problem, not my lack of effort. It's an expert-level emotional judo move where he uses her genuine concern as a weapon to shut down any real conversation about their issues. A practical example of how to handle this, should you find yourself in this jam, is refusing to accept the inverted blame. Don't engage with a distraction. Try saying something like, I hear you feel anxious, and that's valid, but right now, let's stick to the issue, the distance between us. This maintains your boundary. But alas, in this scenario, she hasn't learned that trick yet, meaning every single conversation was doomed to fail, leading to the next and perhaps most painful part of their story, the utter lack of physical intimacy. And here we hit the brutal truth found in so many relationship stories long. The bedroom becomes a battleground of anxiety and avoidance. Gosh, not only does he avoid simple physical contact, but when intimacy does happen, it feels like he's ticking off a chore list. She noticed he rarely touches her, and the whole sexual encounter is quick, joyless, and devoid of desire in his eyes. It's the textbook definition of going through the motions.
Oh boy, the details here are heart-wrenching and symptomatic of deep-seated issues that define true toxic relationship stories. Think about it. 3 attempts in a month, resulting in him passing out from anxiety, ending abruptly in 7 minutes, or finishing in 2. Geez, even worse, she observed the subtle signs of physical aversion. The quick cleanup, the search for a towel after touching her. It felt like disgust, not desire, which is an absolute gut punch to anyone's self-esteem. Crikey, if you're ever in a situation where your partner suddenly develops a laundry list of excuses, high blood pressure, exhaustion, alcohol, people next door, your alleged nagging, wake up. These are often smokescreens designed to mask a fundamental inability or unwillingness to connect, and they're definitely not sustainable for a healthy partnership. This pattern of evasion and excuse-making was slowly but surely pushing her to a vital realization. The refusal was not about her, but about him. After weeks of begging for intimacy and being met with a wall of excuses, blimey, who could blame her? She finally reached a point of absolute soul-deep exhaustion. She simply stopped insisting. This lull is a powerful yet often overlooked chapter in relationship stories long. It's the moment the exhausted giver steps back and finally focuses on their own well-being. Phew, what a relief! But what a profound sadness, too. You know, that cessation of effort forced a clarity she desperately needed. When she stopped pushing for physical connection, she could clearly see the situation for what it was, unfiltered. The penny dropped. The problem wasn't me. Ding, ding, ding. That realization, that acceptance of rejection, while initially painful, is the master key to escaping many toxic relationship stories. It separates the worth of the person from the dysfunction of the dynamic. A powerful tool here is shifting perspective. Instead of asking, why doesn't he want me? Ask, why is he unable to be present in this relationship? This reframe is vital for reclaiming your power. Sadly, for this woman, while she gained clarity, the residual impact on her self-esteem was still harsh. She saw her relationship reduced to a chore. She performed while living alongside a complete stranger. This made the reality of their day-to-day life feel even more absurd and antagonistic. Good grief, what a heavy transition. At this stage, their apartment isn't a home. It's a shared space occupied by two strangers, or worse, two enemies living side by side in an emotionally anesthetized routine. She's the one shouldering all the invisible labor, the cooking, the cleaning, the managing of their shared life, while he seems utterly baffled, distant, and completely ungrateful. This is a painful marker in relationship stories long where one partner is essentially a glorified roommate and caretaker. Talk about bizarre. The ultimate irony here is the stark contrast between their reality and the digital performance. He wants to constantly post those happy couple photos, the ones that scream, "Look how great we are," yet in real life, he won't even hold her hand in public. This social media facade is a classic symptom of deeply toxic relationship stories. He needs the external validation that she is with him, but he cannot provide the internal connection she craves. He is obsessed with the image of the relationship, not the substance.
Man, oh man. A great way to identify this in your own life is recognizing that a relationship built purely on external appearances is always unstable. A genuine partnership shouldn't feel like a one-person production. There should be reciprocity and gratitude. Her deep, unacknowledged effort in maintaining their fake life, coupled with his persistent lack of emotional presence, set the stage for the final, heartbreaking collapse, fueled by the fact that he absolutely refuses to acknowledge his own part in this mess. Seriously though, what truly defines the sheer toxicity of this dynamic is his absolute zero-level reaction to her dedication. She's pouring energy, effort, and care into their shared life, and he's completely anesthetized. No joy, no gratitude, no attempt to initiate change. This stagnation is the quicksand of toxic relationship stories. Nothing moves, nothing improves, and the emotional burden falls entirely on the one who still cares, which is absolutely unfair. Unbelievable. His go-to defense is the blame game. If she ever dares to voice her pain or his lack of participation, he doesn't reflect, he immediately swings the pendulum back, making her the problem. This is a classic hallmark in relationship stories long. When one partner is unwilling or unable to face their own issues, they externalize the blame to protect their fragile ego. He acts as if nothing is wrong, and if she brings it up, she is the instigator, the unreasonable one. Ugh, man, this is often what keeps people stuck. When you can't even get a flicker of acknowledgement or an attempt at change, you're hitting a brick wall made of emotional denial. The relationship has stalled, and his non-response is a powerful, silent form of emotional abuse. His inability to be happy, grateful, or present suggests a profound internal struggle. A struggle that leads her, and us, to the undeniable suspicion of the real, unspoken reason behind all this tension. So, after enduring the emotional starvation, the physical rejection, and the endless deflection of blame, she finally arrives at the only logical endpoint in these painful relationship stories long. It's over, isn't it? That single, exhausted question marks the moment she reclaims her sanity and her self-worth. Hallelujah! The realization that there's no way out of this is the final, agonizing step before liberation. Listen up, because this is where the not-so-obvious concept comes into play. Why all the anxiety? Why the physical aversion? Why the deep need to maintain a fake relationship image? Ding, 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 all these bizarre behaviors, the fast, joyless sex, the anxiety attacks, the complete lack of desire, lead us to an undeniable yet unspoken conclusion. He's likely struggling with his own unaccepted identity. Feel that's a heavy weight to carry, both for him and for her. While we can't know for certain the signs, the aversion to her body, the need for the heterosexual mask, painted tragic picture of a man fighting himself and sadly destroying his partner in the process. The core of these toxic relationship stories often isn't about you, but about the unresolved internal conflict of the other person. The only possible answer to her question is a resounding yes. It's time to go.